Bitcoin down today, but not out. Our next guest says the recent crypto rally is encouraging, with a 40% move higher since early September. How much more upside is there for the digital coin? Let's bring in Grayscale Investment CEO Michael Sonnenshein. Michael, welcome. Great to have you with us.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
The premise behind the rise in Bitcoin is that an ETF is going to be approved by the SEC, and all of a sudden everybody's going to want to be in it. There's going to be a lot of buying of Bitcoin, et cetera. Why should we believe that new money will be attracted into Bitcoin once an ETF is approved, as opposed to capital being reallocated within the Bitcoin universe?
It's a great question. You know, today, without having spot Bitcoin ETFs in the market, there is nearly $30 trillion of advised wealth in the U.S. just alone that needs access to crypto, that needs access to Bitcoin, and by and large hasn't had access to it. So the onset of Bitcoin ETFs, spot Bitcoin ETFs, will really open the door to financial advisors, advised wealth, really to have the opportunity to participate in Bitcoin in a way that they really haven't had before.
So the $30 trillion number is just the assets under management in wealth accounts. It's not actually money that wants to go into Bitcoin. So in your assumption, what percentage of those assets want an allocation to Bitcoin?
Well, we can start to play around with some numbers. Let's talk about what percentage of that universe wants Bitcoin exposure, over what time period are they going to allocate to it, what is their target allocation going to be, and you pretty quickly get to some pretty large numbers.
Michael, what do you think, again, when investors are thinking about diversification and they're looking for the sorts of assets that have the potential to outperform over the long run? This is very new for all intents and purposes. What do you think the bull case is right now into 2024 for having an allocation in Bitcoin, whether it's in spot, you know what I mean, or whether it's in a ETF, that sort of thing? What is the bull case for all those trillions that are looking for a home?
I think for most investors, when they look at Bitcoin itself, the use case that resonates with the largest percentage of them is really looking at Bitcoin as a digital gold. It's gold meant for a more digitized age. It's more portable. It's more divisible. It has arguably greater utility. And that alone is a really large market that has not been addressed yet.
Michael, how about the broadening of this rally? We talk all the time about, the broader market is 7 stocks. Are we seeing breadth? But, your point is that you're seeing breadth across the digital asset space, and that this rally, which is like Bitcoin's, up 120% in a year, probably garden variety of moves that we've seen at different times. But how about the other parts of the entire spectrum?
It's a great question. We are seeing from investors that they want to move beyond just Bitcoin and Ethereum into other parts of crypto, but a lot of them don't even know where to start. We recently introduced a new framework. It's called the Grayscale Crypto Sectors, and it borrows from sector investing in traditional assets like equities, but really helps investors break down the use cases, the differentiation amongst different protocols, and ultimately will allow them to develop the vocabulary and the metrics to be able to monitor developments across crypto, not just in its 2 largest assets by market cap.
Today's sell-off notwithstanding, it appears as though each time a rate cut gets pulled forward, Bitcoin goes higher in terms of the price. Is that an accurate correlation?
It's over a relatively short period of time, right? A lot of investors have been thinking throughout this year that a recession is coming. They've been looking at inflationary pressures. A lot of investors have different views on Bitcoin. Some of them have looked at it as an inflation hedge, but there's a lot of investors that are just positioned net long because they're excited about Bitcoin as a new technology. So it's too hard to say what those little knee-jerk reactions are to things like a new CPI print.
So you talked a little bit about the wealth market and the interest there. What are you seeing from the institutional market? Are you seeing continued demand, especially given what we just talked about with rates?
I think that the introduction of the spot Bitcoin ETF will allow for institutions to participate as well. What's been interesting about crypto, as opposed to other asset classes that came along before it, it was usually institutions who had access first, and then it eventually trickled its way down to retail. In the case of crypto, it went to retail first, and institutions by and large haven't been able to participate, and certainly having regulated instruments like ETFs will allow them to participate.
I wanted to get your quick take, Michael, because some of the arguments against a Bitcoin ETF is, the SEC is worried about fraud and manipulation. And granted, Bitcoin is not the same as XRP, but we saw that prank where there was an application, quote, fake one, filed on behalf of BlackRock. It was not true for an ETF that tracks XRP, and we saw XRP move 10%. How do you think about that? Because I understand it's not as deep of a market, but this shows that it's so easily manipulated.
you see those types of misinformations, not just in crypto, but across all types of asset classes, okay? And a simple tweet can, send stocks moving in one direction or another. We see it all the time. I think it's a really strong reminder as you are navigating the investment landscape, who you invest with, right? A lot of folks are thinking about differentiation, competition in the market. We're a company that holds ourselves out to be a crypto expert. We've been doing this for 10 years. We're operationally ready to operate GBTC as an ETF. And so as you're thinking about where you want to go for that exposure, who you do it with is really going to matter.